Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and One Thing with Team Beery.
Welcome
We're
back.
so glad you joined us today.
Hi.
We are caffeinated and motivated and rocking and rolling. Now, we've been talking about home insurance this month, and today we wanted to just share some fun stories. Information, right? We're all about knowledge and sharing
about
information.
Or not so fun stories.
Yeah, we want to share some stories. To get caffeinated this month, we are talking about Green Mountain Coffee Roasters. This flavor is caramel vanilla cream. Mm-hmm. You know, me and vanilla and caramel and all things good.
Yeah.
I like it. Scott wants the ice cream that's on the box versus the coffee.
Well, it's
but we opted with the coffee because it's less calories.
There's no caffeine in the
There's no
ice cream,
caffeine in the.
Oh, that's true. We couldn't be caffeinated without
That's
the...
right.
No.
right.
In fact, if I had the ice cream in the morning, I'd probably just go back to sleep.
Well,
there's a thought.
So
Ice
there
cream
you go.
for breakfast.
has milk in
I've
it.
had cake for breakfast.
Hey,
You could try it.
you know?
Yeah.
All right.
So, why do we need home insurance?
Well,
And what stories do you have to share to
there's
tell us why?
there's a lot of stories going on. So, Scott's got a great story
He
as
does.
to why insurance is important. Why don't you fill us in?
Tell us all about
Yes.
it.
Well, someone I know had a wash machine hose split earlier in the day, and they were gone all day, and it was happened to be the hot water hose, and that it ran all day. So, and this is really a bad decorating story too, because they had wallpaper. Sorry, but the wallpaper was coming off the wall.
Oh, wow.
The lacquer or the finish on the cabinets was coming off.
Wow.
And by the time they
It was a
found
steam box.
it was a steam box, and there was about well, in the back of the house, the two back bedrooms didn't get any water, so that told you that the pad was a little uneven too. But there was about 2 inches of water in the whole house. by the
And
time
so when they
found it.
walked
So,
up
yeah.
to their front door, there was water coming
Yeah, there was
out.
water coming out of the
Coming
front
out of
door.
their
Yeah.
house.
Like that feeling.
That
had
has got to be awful.
It's not pleasant. I don't
Yeah.
think it was
Horrendous.
pleasant. Yeah.
Yeah. So when the insurance company came and
Well, the first, the what do you call those? The people-
adjuster,
No, the people that come to when water damage.
the adjuster.
Assessment?
No,
Assessment.
the first to clean up
the
the water.
remediation.
Yeah,
Oh,
remediation. The insurance company was good with all of that, sending those guys out to, clean
Remediate.
everything out, pull the carpet out. I think they put dryers in the
Dryers,
house,
yeah.
and they did a good job there. But what ended up happening was when the adjuster came, the adjuster didn't see the damage the same way as the homeowner saw the damage. So, yeah,
Not
that
fun.
was it was a little bit of a fight.
They didn't want to replace the wallpaper?
They didn't want to replace cabinets.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and the flooring and stuff they knew they had to, but it ended up working out in the end. So
What does your dad say about insurance?
my dad he always said, you never know how good an insurance company is until you need them.
Yeah.
And he's
There you
right.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah.
So always read reviews.
Yeah.
Get a
That's
feel
true.
for that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Because it's not always about the best rate.
Cheapest, yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think in the defense of the adjuster, because I don't want to throw insurance adjusters under the bus. It was subjective. It was what they thought versus what the homeowner thought,
Right.
and you can understand. Maybe the homeowner wants like a new couch.
Right.
Couch didn't get wet. So
Yeah.
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 things like
I'm
that.
sure it's complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Corey gave us a story. This is in our networking group. He'd given us a story where somebody had cooked some chicken in the microwave, and it caught fire.
What?
Yes. And because
Did they pluck the feathers out?
the steam of the fire
What?
kind of got all over the house.
The smoke.
The smoke, yes.
Yeah.
And so you know, it was a kitchen fire, so it wasn't a huge fire. I mean, you know, did some damage and whatnot. But because of the insurance that his people had, because it's a chicken fire. So there's a weird thing, but if it's a protein fire, you have to change out all the soft materials, like all of your draperies, all your bedding, all of your anything.
Really?
Yes, because apparently there's some like dangerous chemicals in that, and so never knew. Yes.
Wow.
And so to me, like that shows
Whoa.
that he knew how to insure those people to make sure that they
having
had
an
all
agent
that
who's
extra,
knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
I have an aunt that let bacon grease. She forgot it on the stove.
Yeah.
And she came home.
Yeah, I can see how that would
and
light
was
it
just
up.
black.
Wow.
It didn't like catch fire.
Oh,
it
just the smoke.
All the smoke from
Yeah,
the bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of
And the
bacon.
smell.
Yeah.
I bet.
I mean,
Ugh.
when you make bacon, it doesn't go away right away.
Yeah, but like smoke, like
Yeah.
to
That
me,
smoky
like
smell.
smoke
Yeah,
smell
yeah. Yeah, so that's a lot. That's
only
a lot
smells
going
good if
on.
it's outside and you're cooking s'mores.
Right.
Right.
S'mores.
You don't s'mores. Smorgasbord.
My oldest used to call them schmoes.
Schmoes. Oh, I love
Nice.
it. That's awesome.
Oh, I love it.
So,
When he was little.
what other stories?
Well, what about, do we have any stories about tools or anything of that sort? Getting, like, somebody stealing tools or anything of that sort? No?
No, but that would be a nightmare.
That would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because
That goes back to our episode where we talked about having a home inventory.
it really does.
Well, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it
Keeping
also
it
applies to
Yeah.
home insurance, right? If you have, like I've mentioned, we have a next door neighbor who's a mechanic, and like he has a whole bunch of specialized tools
Right.
for the thing, his hobby, right? For
Right.
the thing he likes
Yeah.
to do. So you need to make sure that your insurance is going to cover those things.
Right.
Because God forbid, but what if someone does come break into your garage
And
and roll that toolbox, right out
out the door.
right out
yeah,
the door.
Yeah.
That would be devastating to Timothy.
Right.
Although
To anybody.
our garage would be cleaner.
You want to give your
Always
address
looking
out?
for the positive. Always looking for the positive. You gotta like it. But yeah, so that's a big one. So make sure that you have a rider policy on anything. Like if you I like my son is Mr. Electronic Boy.
Oh,
I mean
so
he's
he's
got
got a
every
ton.
kind of computers and he makes his own built computers. Like that's super specific and. If an insurance company came in and they would give you $200 for your laptop,
it's
isn't
not
going to
the
the
same.
same,
Right.
No.
So you would have to have those extra rider policies to make sure that
Specifically
stuff
to cover
covered.
specialty items.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's important. That's really important.
So we have friends that kayak. They like to kayak the salt. And so they're always like, you need to get kayaks and go with us. And I'm looking on OfferUp for kayaks. There are some really expensive kayaks.
Right.
I had no idea. No idea. So if you're really into a hobby or a sport or something like that, if it's a bicycle
Right.
or,
Mountain
specialized.
bikes,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
Some
don't
of
know
them-
that I would have ever thought about that I need to make sure that my insurance is going to cover those things.
Right. Right. That's huge.
It's very huge.
Yeah.
Well, jewelry too.
And jewelry, yeah.
Right.
How many women's rings are worth more than
Yeah.
a couple
More than their
$1,000s,
house?
right?
No.
I mean, like seriously, and so
Yeah.
typical insurance policy only covers like $1,000 for any jewelry.
You got a ring worth
Really?
more than your house. Be
yeah.
careful, man.
Yeah.
I was just being on. Well, maybe it depends on how kind of house you live in.
That's why your shoulders bother you. Dragging your
It's
knuckles.
dragging that diamond.
Audrey and a rock.
Well, I don't know, but I read in the magazines, man, some of those people have expensive jewelry.
Yeah, that is true. That is
Yep.
true.
So
You have a personal injury story?
So I have a personal interest story. A friend of mine, their child got ran over by an ATV.
Oh.
The boys were just playing, goofing around out in the field or whatever, but, didn't realize what was happening, and he got ran over. Luckily, the owner of the ATV had a really good insurance policy and covered the, cost of going to the hospital and cost of the rehab and cost of some of that stuff. That could have really been detrimental on both sides of that family.
Yeah.
Both families, really.
Right.
If that hadn't happened that way. So that's also, don't just get your standard policy. If you have children, you might need a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Well, and not only children, but if you have other activities like that.
Depends on how
Right.
adventurous some of your children are too.
if you're out boating and you guys go,
Right.
water skiing or something, maybe that could be a big thing. So make sure your insurance is covering
You might
that
need
kind
extra
of stuff.
coverage.
Right. So
Not just wow, that's so interesting.
So just little tales of Beery and things to think about.
What about, I know living in Mesa, we get with our water bill, we get the little brochure that talks about your sewer lines.
Oh, yeah. That's
what about
another
things
one.
like that?
Yeah, so to me, that's a rider you can get on your policy. Sometimes it's cheaper than what that policy
What they offer.
is. Or you might choose to get that one depending on what your policy is. So it's definitely worth looking into.
To cover your sewer lines. Because, your typical home insurance policy covers your sewer
in your
pipes
house.
and stuff. But this is the lines from your house to the street.
Right.
Because that's not traditionally covered.
Yeah,
case a
because
tree
the city's not going to
penetrates
cover
it.
it. Yeah. The city's not going to cover
No.
it. So,
Yeah.
I'll be darned. Didn't know that.
yeah.
I guess you have to live in
Well,
Mesa to get the
but if
informational
you-
brochure.
You can get a rider.
Well,
I
but
mean,
everybody
that
gets
depends
them.
on. In my mind,
I'm
that
just
depends
teasing.
on how old your house is.
Not necessarily. I had a situation where their house was only 22 years old. It wasn't even that old. And they had to replace their sewer line, and it was like $22,000.
Well, you think those lines run in through your front yard.
Right.
I just closed on a home, and the line went from the backyard to the alley.
It depends on how. It depends on how.
1963, yeah.
It depends on how it.
Well,
how
I don't
it's
have
run.
an alley. My
Yeah.
things are in the clean outs
depends
are
on
No,
how
in
I
the
know.
yard.
Yeah,
But
new builds.
it just came to me that if you're doing any landscaping in the front yard, you
Yeah.
gotta be careful.
Yeah. Well, where your trees are, especially. 'Cause
Yeah.
tree,
You don't want
tree
to put
roots
a
will
tree
find
right there. Yeah.
will find the water.
Or even if you want to re-landscape, right? You
Right.
bought a house and you want to make it more, change the curb appeal.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and they call it blue stake. You can make that phone call to blue stake, and blue stake will go out and show you where all
mark
your
it all.
lines are. Yep.
Yep.
And then you'll know where to plant a tree or whatever.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's always good to know.
Good
So look
stuff.
at that. We got all kinds of tips today.
Yes.
So if you thinking of anything else,
Yeah. If you think of anything else, you want to reach out to us, you can always call us, and definitely check out our website, teambeery.com. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoy it, and we'll see you next time.
all right.
Take care.
Take care. Always use
A very
Very
good
good
team.
team.